Over the last decade, I have started up 3 businesses, failed miserably with one, and I have 2 currently up and running. I have an obsession with ideas. Let me explain. For me, it started at university. I was in my final year of a Bachelor of Engineering degree, majoring in software engineering at the University of Auckland. It was quite a typical engineering degree. Theory heavy, tons of textbooks, lots of projects and assignments. To be honest, at times it was very mundane. In my final year, I got a chance to pick an elective. For those who don't know what that is, an elective is an optional subject you can choose to study for 1 semester. There were a whole range of options, mostly related to my degree, but some that were quite different. I took the time to carefully consider my options, because I really wanted to break out of the norm, learn something different, and step out of my comfort zone. After much deliberation, I chose a marketing paper, Management 303. The choice was not based on an interest, hobby, or anything like that. I chose it because it was the one paper that was completely different to what I was studying. An easy choice in the end. I didn't realize that the things I would learn in this paper would be the catalyst for driving my passions over the next decade. I remember the first class I attended. The lecturer went through a few presentation slides depicting various inventors and the ideas that made them famous. Leonardo da Vinci, Thomas Edison, etc. The one thing they all had in common, he said. They all carried a notebook to write down their ideas whenever one came to mind. He continued to explain that, yes, there was obviously a process once the idea has been written down in order for it to become a real thing, but it was the action of thinking about problems regularly and writing down possible solutions that enabled these men to achieve so much. In other words, invention is a force of habit, a way of thinking. The lecturer then challenged the class to spend the next 20 minutes to come up with 10 ideas to solve everyday problems. So we did, and when the time elapsed, he asked us to share our ideas with him. Most of the ideas were pretty bad. Actually, all ideas were bad, except for one. The problem was simple. Problem. Most New Zealand homes have a garbage bin on wheels and a separate recycling bin to put in plastic bottles and cans for recycling. On the night before the garbage collection, every home would put their garbage out in front of their driveway to be picked by the garbage truck in the morning. If you had a long driveway, like a lot of New Zealand homes do, you would either have to pull your garbage bin along with one hand and carry the recycling bucket with the other hand. The second option was to make 2 trips. As a kid, I hated garbage day and wanted to get it over and done with ASAP. So option 1 was the only option. The issue though was that if you weren't careful, the bottles and cans in the recycling bin would fall out and roll around all over the place. Very, very annoying. Solution. Make a hook that would attach to the garbage bin handle so that you could hook on the recycling bin when you needed to put the garbage out. This would allow you to safely transport both the garbage bin and the recycling bin without spillage. Simple. In 20 minutes, out of a number of ideas, there was one gem. We didn't go through everyone's ideas, but I can only imagine how many other gems were thought about that day. That's the great thing about ideas, they are so easy to generate. Most admittedly will be bad, but if you generate enough ideas, there is bound to be that one gem, that game changer. The best part is that anyone can do it. It's just a way of thinking. Like everything that's learned, it takes practice. Ever since I caught the ideas bug in that lecture, I have had hundreds of ideas and brought a handful to life. This has become a passion. A passion I might not have stumbled upon if it wasn't for that elective. I will leave you with this beautiful quote. A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on. Ideas have endurance without death. John F. Kennedy.